What I want people to understand when looking at destroyed girls like this is they're not seeking validation. They're looking to be called good people. A part of the mentality of the older generation is to say young people are looking for validation. When they're teenagers, they're looking to fit in. They're looking to, well, to gain validation. But that's not exactly what's been happening in the recent iterations of young people, my generation specifically. We're being told, we're being propagandized to constantly, signaled in the media, in the culture, in all forms of entertainment, that to be a good person, you have to be on the left, that you have to inhabit to some degree an identity which is victimized in order to be a good person. This video is titled Why Women in My Generation Are Trying to Be Ugly. And the reason they're trying to do this is because to be a good person, you have to be on the left. And to be on the left, you have to conduct warfare with reality. Therefore, rejecting the intrinsic beauty of the feminine existence. This is why you have otherwise attractive women dyeing their hair and then cutting it off. They're quite literally trying to spite reality. They're not just trying to join a club. They are doing that, but the club that they're joining is one that says reality is oppression. Instead, we define what reality is, and that's why it's ultimately narcissistic and psychopathic. But they believe and tell themselves everything from biology to objective science to culture to morality is all socially constructed, and therefore we can be the arbiters of what's right and wrong. And so when they do this, in their mind, they are conducting warfare. Because what's the point of a young girl who's attractive otherwise to dye her hair and then cut it off? The rebellion is quite technically, in their mind, against reality. An amorphous apparatus of accountability powered by scrutiny and coherence, which they do not understand, as that's all hidden, shrouded behind the wall of their own biology, their emotional minds exploited by the resentment of reality by the left. If it sounds like I'm explaining what's going on in the mind of this destroyed young woman, like I'm explaining what she's thinking when she doesn't even know herself, that's because I am. Because their brains don't work. Mine does. And they view the concept of thinking itself as inherently oppressive as it's built on coherent standards. So what I'm doing now to them is considered oppressive because I am exposing and explaining exactly what's going on here using logic and reason rather than saying this woman is by default a good person. Notice how she still is wearing makeup too at the end of it. So she still wants to be pretty because, you know, women are vain sometimes, but she also wants to be able to signal that she's a part of the right club, that she's a part of the right cult. I'm going to cut off my hair to spite objective reality, the patriarchy, whatever in her mind is going on. Oh my gosh, Elon Musk is oppressing me. This type of mental debauchery has never existed on the planet before, and it's important to understand that. It's very important to understand that. Women have never been this destroyed, this psyoped, this vulnerable to the predations of psychopathic ideology. Because for most of human civilization, men protected them from this. Men protected women from everything, actually. But given that women view themselves as equal, when of course they're technically not equal, in terms of capability, I mean, and psychological makeup and physicality, etc., and that they've demonized masculinity as inherently oppressive, there's no way to protect them from this, where they literally try to destroy their feminine beauty. And this is a classic case of cutting off their own nose to spite their face. They think that they're hurting anybody besides themselves. This is tragic, of course. I'm not happy about this. I'm not happy when I say, oh, she's cutting off her own nose to spite her face. I don't want this woman to be destroyed. I'm explaining what's going on here so that we can fearlessly explain to these women and signal to them, you don't have to destroy your life for a destitute ideology built on resentment and categories of victimhood. That's not going to bring you happiness. And it's also false. Resentment of objective reality happens when an ideology tells you you need to relinquish your individual identity. And the reason for that might seem abstract, but it's actually very practical. The reason is that the way humans exist, psychologically speaking, in reality and in society is by taking accountability for objective reality, for things that are objectively true, for those emergent principles of reality, like morality, like how you should act, how you should behave, you should work hard, you should be honest, you should be industrious, you should fortify yourself against evil, things like that. All of those very simple realizations are completely inaccessible to any person that does not consider themselves an individual first. Because if you don't consider yourself an individual, then there is no necessity for you to take responsibility for reality. You see, there's the other way out, which is to say, I'm a part of a group membership, and they'll tell me what to do. They'll tell me what's good. They'll tell me what's virtuous. I'll just listen to them. And of course, this also means that you no longer, well, you lose all of your actual merit and all of your virtue, because merit and virtue are to be derived by reality, not by a cult which tells you you're a good person as a result of being a member to it. But this is how the left operates, is they say you're a good person if you're a part of our club, and you're an even better person if you can claim a victimhood status hierarchy. And so to some degree this woman is also trying to victimize herself, but that is what's going on here, and that is technically why the left resents reality. If I were to explain it very quickly, I have videos on my channel going to that in depth, in total probably dozens of hours, actually more than 100 hours to this point on my channel. If you appreciate what I'm doing here, subscribe to the channel and comment in the comments your thoughts. This woman clearly expected to harvest some sort of counterfeit virtue as a result of posting this video of herself online. Oh my gosh, you're so good for doing warfare with reality and destroying yourself. The left is very practiced, or I should say the spirit of resentment is very practiced at sacrificing women and children on the altar of the sun god, the ultimate resentment of Cain, to control the weather, to appease weak tyrants. It goes back very far. I appreciate all of you watching. I'll see you in the next video.